ऐसा नहीं कि अच्छे shows नहीं बन रहे. I mean, look at Anupama. Wow, it's
Yeah.
got some revolution. You know,
Hmm.
if you see, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि सब shows ही हम बोले कि regressive है. बाकी हाँ, मतलब शायद supernatural categories में it's a bit of a question mark के थोड़ा funny लगता है कहीं कुछ चीजें. I think TV is still the number one medium. Nobody really talks about it. There is a certain form of abuse that does follow. But like I said, if you're unlucky enough to find such people, like, in one of my shows, I'm not going to take the name, the producers were nice, but the EP that they had kept would mentally harass me.
Hello and welcome to News 18 SHOWSHA. I am Chirag Sehgal and joining me today is actress Ridhima Pandit. Thank you so much, Ridhima, for joining us. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Chirag. I'm very, very well. As you know, बहुत ही hectic रही है मेरी morning, but
Yeah.
it's been a while that we have been wanting to talk. तो
Yeah.
आज it was the day.
But to begin with, you have been away from our screens for quite some time now. What is the reason behind it?
Well, honestly, it's not by choice. It's pretty much by compulsion. I have no qualms accepting it that I haven't, um, gotten anything worth my time and energy or whatever I can offer as an actor to my audiences. And I always keep saying I do feel there's a lack of opportunities. As much as
Yeah.
people say Keep has opened up a lot of avenues, but I also do feel it's people getting work again and again. It's become very difficult for us to break into OTT.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of feeling stuck, honestly, if you ask me. But then things are slowly moving for me. That's my silver lining. So here's hoping.
But you recently said that you don't want to be a part of something regressive just for the sake of getting work. I feel that's a very strong statement to make. But is this also one of the reasons that have you rejected some projects in the recent past because of the same?
Yeah, not just in the recent past. I've always been going on rejecting the projects which I just absolutely cannot connect with. When I did Rajnikant, that show was absolute rich and logical humor. It wasn't something that I relate to. So I'm very sure that what I want to be seen as towards my audiences. But again, like I say, never say never. When I said that about those shows as well, I said anything that starts off on a note that's probably regressive, but takes the whole idea and makes it progressive is something I would love to be a part of.
Yeah. We'll come to Rajnikant a little later, but this entire debate that television content has become regressive has been there for quite some time now. Honestly, I feel we don't make shows like Balika Vadhu or Pratigya anymore. What do you think is the reason?
जैसे अगर आप बोलो तो where there's demand, there's supply. The producers know their job very, very well. They know the pulse of the audiences, probably the ones they are catering to. Every production house, every channel must have their target audience.
Yeah.
And probably ऐसा नहीं कि अच्छे shows नहीं बन रहे. I mean, look at Anupama. Wow, it's got some revolution. If you see, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि सब shows ही हम बोले कि regressive है. बाकी हाँ, मतलब शायद supernatural categories में it's a bit of a question mark के थोड़ा funny लगता है कहीं कुछ चीजें. I think TV is still the number one medium by all many ways.
But if you have to change something about television content, what would it be?
I don't know about content. I'm probably not the right person to say that, but I would like to change the working conditions, like 110% for sure. And it's been a while that I did TV, but I remember the days when just physically very, very taxing, because there are lots of scenes which are planned in a day, and then there's no time to prep sometimes, and then you have some 6-7 changes in a day. You're exhausted by the end of it. You are any 12 hours plus another 1 hour extra. You have to come earlier to get ready, and another 1 hour, 1.5 hours of traveling. So it kind of gets a bit hectic.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Bahu Hamari Rajnikant, it was a very popular show. Everybody loved it. Still, people talk about it. But as an actor, do you feel the success of that show did not translate into other projects?
Unfortunately, yeah, it did not. What happened? When I look at my career graph,
Yeah.
I think after Rajnikant, I did very, very well up until 2019. So that's the whole of 2016, 17, 18, 19. So those years have gone by extremely well. And then COVID hit. And then
Yeah.
I lost my mom. And then, because I wasn't seen for so long, is when I started to get a bit desperate as an actor to be seen again.
Yeah.
And I remember taking up Big Boss in that rush. I was like, time to be seen again. It can't be not on people's TV screens. And
Hmm.
I remember taking that up and still, being evicted pretty unfairly for absolutely
Hmm.
no reason that made any sense to me
Yeah.
or my audience. Um, I also wasn't in the best frame of mind to go compete at that level of the show. So वो हुआ, but उसके बाद से भी, yes, it's been tough for me, honestly.
Hmm.
I wouldn't deny it's been very, very tough to look out for good work, but I have zero qualms in accepting. I call up all the casting directors I know. I reach out to every producer I know,
Hmm.
and the beauty is the ones who I've worked with are kind enough to always get back to me when there's a project that they would like me to be a part of or
Yeah.
lead the project. But then there are many other factors, yeah, कहाँ कुछ होता है, कहाँ creative difference हो जाता है, कहीं
Hmm.
monies have to match. There's just so many factors. So
Yeah.
I guess, but are looking brighter. I have taken up something really nice, and that should release. In fact, there's one very beautiful Marathi film that I shot for, but it's taking
I
so
was
long to
about
release.
to ask this, that we hear that you're shooting for some Marathi film.
Yes, it's a very beautiful film. It's the remake of a South Indian film, and it's a very slice of life kind of film,
Yeah.
comedy as well. But my character has nothing to do with my forte, which is comedy. It's that of a very simple girl, and it's directed by Satish Rajwade sir. Lalit Prabhakar is my co-actor,
Yeah.
and it's a ride. Even on sets, we had a lot of fun. So that's up for release for sure.
Yeah. Ridhima, in one of your, like I was going through your social media, and in one of your recent posts, you wrote how acting as a profession is often misunderstood as glamour. Do you think as a like as a whole, acting as a profession is it very often misunderstood?
Extremely, all the time. And by all means, the people who are, in fact, जिनके साथ मेरा उठना बैठना होता है, उनको भी लगता है कि अरे तो क्या हुआ, यू नो मैं शायद पहले इतना ऑफेंस नहीं लेती रहूंगी जितना मैं आज की तारीख में लेती हूँ, बिकॉज जब वो मैंने हाईज एंड लोज पर्सनली फेस किए,
Hmm.
इट्स नॉट इजी टू sustain.
Yeah.
It's a damn place to be in. I
Hmm.
always, and I say, thank you, God, for blessing me with such an amazing family that's always there to take care of me in every aspect. I mean,
Hmm.
anyone can break down mentally in this industry, right? It's
Yeah.
tough. I remember speaking to a very, very successful actress, who's one of the current A-listers. I don't want to name her.
Hmm.
And I was like, God, it's such a struggle sometimes. We have so much work sometimes that we have to keep saying no to the
Yeah.
good things that us. And there are times when we are absolutely mind boggled about what next. How do we pick this up? How do we remain in people's minds? So she said, "What do you think? It gets any better? It only gets worse. I mean, that
Hmm.
it's a race. You're constantly competing, and look at the amount of people wanting to get into this industry because it's, yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's given us so much. कि वो एक आकर्षक सबको ही है. तो definitely, I think I've lost my chain of thought. Where were we? कहाँ से कहाँ में लेके गई? What
About
was the
one of
question?
the A-list, you were explaining how one of the A-listers said it gets only
Yeah.
worse.
So
Hmm.
yeah, I did feel that it did not transform for me as it should have or it could have.
Hmm. But अगर as far as that glamour aspect is concerned, देखा जाए तो गलती भी हमारी ही है, because unfortunately we have set those standards, those beauty standards for actors. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I guess, but यार अभी वो तो क्या ही बोल सकते हैं यार, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. कितने अच्छे अच्छे एक्टर्स हैं यार, they are not focused about the way they're looking. They're actually giving
Hmm.
out belting performances, which is bringing the audiences to the theaters. I mean, इससे ज्यादा success तो और क्या ही.
Hmm. But have there been times जब आपको बोला गया हो to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to walk a
Yes.
certain? Hmm.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there's this one particular project I had gained weight for.
Hmm.
And I am that of a very petite frame. So gaining 3 kilos also on me is going to show, and
Yeah.
it's probably going to look nice the first 3 kilos, but the fourth and the fifth kilo will start to look, she looks different. And I remember gaining some 8 kilos for this particular role, and that project never happened. So
Oh.
do you know it took me close to 9 months to lose, 9 to 10 months to lose those 8 kilos. A lot of
Hmm.
people do it. बड़े-बड़े एक्टर्स भी वो बॉडी मॉडिफाई करते हैं, विद द स्ट्रिक्ट डाइट एवरीथिंग. भाई मैंने तो जिंदगी में डाइट नहीं किया था, मैं तो मतलब रो रही थी. आई एम लाइक व्हाट इज दिस, व्हाई डिड आई डू इट.
Hmm.
बट तो ये भी एक पहलू है, एंड दैट्स एक्चुअली हार्ड वर्क.
Yeah. But वो प्रोजेक्ट क्यों नहीं हुआ?
अब हमारे हाथ में थोड़ी हर चीज, हम तो सिर्फ एक्टर है, मुलायजा.
Hmm.
बहुत सारे लोग हैं वहां पर, प्रोड्यूसर्स है, डायरेक्टर्स है, किसी का अगर ईगो है, क्लैश हुआ है, वी डोंट नो. सो
Hmm.
या.
But as an actor, do you think जब, for example, this incident जब आपको बोला गया कि 3 kilos put on करना है, as an actor, do you think you have no other option than to surrender?
आई गेस या, व्हाई नॉट, बिकॉज अगर आप क्यों करोगे सरेंडर, बिकॉज आपको भी वो प्रोजेक्ट प्रॉमिसिंग लग रहा है.
Hmm.
So not, and I think it's a beautiful thing, but then unfortunate times like mine also, that
Yeah.
if it doesn't go on. So, and of course we get body shamed, we get trolled all the time, but if every day we had to go reply back to these faceless, nameless people,
Yeah.
तो फिर तो होगा, हम अपना हमारा काम करेंगे, इन पागलों को जवाब देते रहे.
Hmm.
बट हाँ,
Since
ऐसे महीने में आता है where I lose it, where I go attack
yeah.
everyone.
Since we're talking about how the profession is often misunderstood, I think it is also very important to raise how actors are treated on set, especially. Recently, I don't know if you have read, but Krishna Mukherjee leveled
Yes.
several allegations against the makers of her show. What do you have to say about it?
Well, firstly, what happened with her is horrifying. This should not happen to anyone. And kudos to her for,
Hmm.
talking about it. Because producers like those are going to find gullible actors and ruin their lives and
Yeah.
put them in depression. And I always say that, not, I'm sure somebody of that level probably know, but usually producers always have a lot of unity.
Hmm.
But unity is one thing. You have to speak up, and like we all stood by Krishna, right? Because
Hmm.
it could have been any one of us.
Hmm.
And this kind of truth is absolutely not acceptable. You don't own us. Yes,
Hmm.
you own our time. We misbehave in that time that we owe you. You are legally bound to put us in the court.
Hmm.
But besides that, you have no business of trying to harm us physically
Yeah.
or mentally.
Hmm.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We work our money. Simple.
Hmm.
We are the face of your show. At the end of it, we are also giving our blood, sweat, pasina. हम भी कोई,
Hmm.
हाँ, unless कोई बहुत अपना tantrum throw कर रहा है, तो then that person deserves it. But
Hmm.
I know Krishna, I don't think she would ever do a thing like that.
Yeah. Do you think that, yes, actors are also treated rudely, are misbehaved on the sets, but unfortunately, nobody talks about it?
Yeah, it's true. Nobody really talks about it. There is a certain form of abuse that does follow. But like I said, if you're unlucky enough to find such people, like, in one of my shows, I'm not going to take the name, the producers were nice, but the EP that they had kept would mentally harass me. And I've
Hmm.
spoken about this time and again, that it was during the time when I started to discover that my mother was really unwell, and she would be in the ICU almost 15 days a month.
Hmm.
And that was obviously very, very heartbreaking for me to see my mother suffer so much. And I would request the EP that, on the days that she's admitted to the ICU, the visiting hours are 4 p.m. to 5:30 and 7 and 8 a.m. 7 a.m. to 8
Hmm.
a.m. and 4 p.m. to 5:30. I
Yeah.
said either of, अगर आप 7 बजे की शिफ्ट रख रहे हैं तो ऑब्वियसली मैं सुबह नहीं जा सकती.
Hmm.
आप ऐसा कुछ कीजिए कि आप शिफ्ट रखें 9 बजे की, कि मैं हॉस्पिटल जाके आ सकूं. या तो
Hmm.
अगर आप 7 बजे करते हैं, तो मुझे 4 बजे जाने दीजिए ना मेरी मम्मी से मिलने के लिए. मैं
Hmm.
आती हूँ वापस. I don't mind, I'll give you extra hours.
Hmm.
But I wasn't very many times. Yeah, so that was absolutely cruel, and that's wrong.
But why do actors not speak about it? Is there a fear of losing work?
Of course, there's a lot of fear of losing work. I'm not taking names, and not for the idea of um, losing work. It's not like I'm ever going to work with someone like that again in my life.
Yeah.
But they say ना, you don't want to be the whistleblower वाला guts उस वक्त नहीं होता है. आज मुझ में है. उस वक्त मैं भी नहीं थी, तो मैंने भी वो सहन किया. फिर भी
Hmm.
मैंने जब बहुत बगावत की, तो मेरे तो आर्टिकल्स आ गए थे पेपर में that said, oh, Ridhima Pandit is throwing a tantrum and everything. I don't think I threw a tantrum at all.
Yeah.
I request humanity grounds. हमारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा होता है force majeure. That means acts of God or things which are absolutely out of your control.
Hmm.
Those times you are allowed to take that time off.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Before we wrap up, Ridhima, we have a small game for you. I'm going to take some actors' K names, and you have to tell me what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear these names. First is Rupali Ganguly.
uh, क्या बोलते हैं, हर घर में रूपाली गांगुली जी ही है. So also very versatile. Let's call her versatile.
Yeah. Urfi Javed,
Badass, sassy.
Karan Kundra.
Karan Kundra, he's a friend, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool.
Rakhi Sawant.
My God, she is unbelievable, and I absolutely love gutsy, gutsy.
Yeah. Ankita Lokhande.
Very pretty.
And lastly, Kushal Tandon.
Sweet old friend of mine.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ridhima, for joining us. It was lovely talking to you. All the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, this is Ridhima Pandit, and you're watching me on News 18 SHOWSHA. Like, share, and subscribe.